So I want to dive into this, and I want to tell you why I decided to do this workshop. The reason is because I work with a lot of members, helping them learn healthy cooking skills. Hey Lailani, you've just popped up on the screen. That's awesome. So I work with a lot of members, helping them to learn healthy cooking skills, fast, easy, tasty meals in order to try and lose weight and achieve their ideal health. And around this time of year, it comes up a lot of people struggling with their eating, and you can have tried so hard all year. Hi Sharon, I see you there. You can have tried so hard all year or for months, really working on walking more, exercising more, eating better, and then the holiday season just throws you totally off track. So I wanted to cover this and maybe help you not gain those normal 5 pounds or go off track this holiday season. So I've got a couple of members who wrote in with what they wanted us to cover today. I'll just share with you from my member Julie, who said, you know, with all the holiday parties at work and elsewhere and all the goodies showing up, it can be really hard. The officers at work have huge bowls of holiday candy, and any help would be appreciated. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And make sure, if you know anyone who'd like to jump in on this, just tag them in the comments below. Share this and tag it with anybody you know. And another request I got from someone what to cover today said, so I've tried a few approaches to this holiday, but since I'm a huge chocolate fan, should have its own food group for me. I often lose. I tried buying candy I don't like to hand out, but ended up eating it anyway. I tried buying what I like and telling myself I can have a couple, but I binged. I tried not passing out candy, and then co-workers flooded the office with candy the next day. So I would love any help you can offer. And that was from Cindy. Hey Karen, I'm so glad you made it on. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So without further delay, I want to begin by comment in the chat below if you are getting nervous as the holiday season approaches, or if you feel that you've already made some choices that aren't helping you to achieve your health or weight goals. Just comment below so I can see what we're dealing with. Just say yes or thumbs up or something in the chat below. And so let's get started with the top 5 secrets to achieving your health goals during the holiday season without relying on crazy willpower, which doesn't work anyway, or gaining the usual 3 to 5 pounds. So secret number 1, this is the 3 practices which require 0 willpower that can help you stop binge eating in its tracks before it happens. And this is regardless of even outside of vacation season. So a lot of us women who are always trying to work on our weight, you know, what woman isn't trying to lose some weight, have episodes of binge eating. And I know I struggled with it for years and years and years. And unless you're following these 3 practices, forget about it. You're literally setting yourself up for failure every single time, and you're going to blame yourself, and you're going to think that, you know, you don't have enough willpower. Hi Jane, welcome to the session. We're just getting started. So you're going to think that maybe it's something you're doing, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And the problem is, when you have bowls and bowls of candy around, and when you have access to these foods, then you're gonna slip up. And I know this used to be me. When I used to work in the law firm, I would try so hard to restrict my calories and follow a food diary, and then I'd find myself eating 1 piece of candy around this time of year, and then it would turn to 10, 20, and I'd just go totally off the tracks. And I would regret it so much and feel so miserable about myself. So here's the 3 practices. Number 1 is sleep. So sleep is basically the foundation for even being able to ever succeed with your health or weight loss goals. If you don't have good sleep habits, you're setting yourself up for success, and definitely setting yourself up for binge eating and bad choices during the holiday season. So when you don't get enough sleep, you actually put your body under stress and trigger your cortisol system, which is your body's stress system. And when you trigger the cortisol system, your body releases cortisol into your system, and this actually increases appetite. So you feel like you're more hungry. And to make things worse, it messes up your hunger hormones, leptin and ghrelin. So what that means is you feel hungry all the time and you don't register satiety. So if you're not sleeping properly, you're setting yourself up for binge eating. So no willpower is required here. We're not talking about resisting. Just insert better sleep practices into your life. So if you are watching right now, comment in the chat and tell me one action plan you can put into place right away, starting today during this holiday season, that can improve your sleep, because both quality matters and the quantity matters. So write something down right now that you can do. So that's point number one in secret number one to reduce binge eating. Point number two to overcome binge eating during the holiday season, but also generally in your life, is actually mindfulness, breathing, and meditation. And I know these are all trendy, sort of wishy-washy things that you may have tried before, or maybe you're already an avid practitioner, but either way, it's the similar thing with sleep. When we are stressed, guess what? Our body also triggers the cortisol system. It releases cortisol and it messes with our body's normal hunger and satiety controls. So if you can introduce a practice of just a few minutes a day of meditation, it will change this for you. It's going to be such a difference in your life if you're able to have the meditation happening. I've just got, let's see, sorry, I've just had someone else want to join the session. So if you've got a meditation practice in your life, it's going to make a huge difference for you, okay? So, and it's not just going to happen on its own. So you need to actually schedule a time, put it in your calendar, and try to set aside, it doesn't have to be long. It can be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Just sit there, don't do anything, and all you need to do is breathe and focus on your breath. And I can tell you from my personal experience in my life, I struggled for so many years with my eating, with dieting, with weight, and I've lost over 25 pounds and achieved my ideal weight for over a decade. And the times in my life when I actually introduced a regular meditation practice and stuck with it, it literally eliminates binge eating behaviors. So it is so powerful, and if you're under stress and you can commit to this, it's going to make a big difference in your life. So say something, comment in the chat below if you will do the meditation, do the deep breathing. And it has a second big benefit other than relaxing you, is that a lot of us are on autopilot, that when we're stressed, we go to food for comfort. And so this is finding a new way, a different release to deal with stress, is to do something self-nurturing that isn't about food. So it's a really powerful practice to start adopting in your life. And it has a third benefit, which is it actually reconnects you with your body. So there's so many times that we go to eat and it has nothing to do with hunger. And if you're able to actually have a regular meditation practice in your life, then it actually makes you feel your body and connect with your body. And such a core part of what we teach our members in our program and how they get their results is actually about learning how to listen to and reconnect with your body. This is a huge part of the healing against what the dieting industry has done to us, of giving us a disordered relationship with food, is learning how to reconnect with your body. And being able to bring in a daily meditation practice is a huge, huge part of achieving that. So I highly recommend even just 3 minutes a day. It's not complicated. It's just sitting or looking at the world, doing nothing, and just breathing for 3 to 5 minutes. That's it. My definition of meditation is the most useless thing I do, which I'm very bad at, until one day I look up and realize it's totally changed my life for the better and made me a better person. So I really do recommend that. So that's step 2, or secret 2, to eliminate binge eating from your life. And especially during the holidays when we're exposed to so much candy and crap in the lunchroom and unexpected treats, it's going to be your savior. Now, step 3 to save you from binge eating, that I highly recommend, and without these 3 steps it can be very difficult to control, is making sure you're properly nourished. I am such a big believer in this, and having been someone who struggled with my eating for so many years of my life, and who used to control and restrict and go hungry and keep food diaries and weigh myself and all the stuff that the dieting industry tells us to do. It was only once I started listening to my body, practicing the principles we teach in the course, which is cook your own food, eat whole natural foods, and listen to your body, that I was actually able to maintain my ideal weight with ease. So the tip is, you've got to be properly nourished. If you are starving yourself, or you're going to work without a proper breakfast, or you're running on empty, or you don't have the right snacks on hand, or you're trying to restrict your calories, and then you see a piece of pumpkin pie which you love, or you see a bowl of candy and you have a bit, guess what? The floodgates are going to open and your body's going to say eat, because that is delicious. It's sugar. It's cocaine for the brain when you're starved. So you've got to properly nourish yourself, and that does require being a little bit prepared. So a lot of you watching have done my program already, and you know the trick, go to 5-minute meals. Make sure you've got some smoothie bags in the fridge. Make sure you've got some ready-made salad dressing so you can make a really nice lunch. Make sure you've got some hard-boiled eggs. You know, get your oatmeal ready for the week, or your chia pudding on the weekend. Have some produce on hand so you can cook a seared piece of chicken and some vegetables for dinner. I have a video which I can share in the links, which is the 5-step morning prep for easy, healthy dinners. So do those steps. You know, I literally this morning, I have no idea what I'm eating for lunch or dinner tonight, but I've already boiled a pot of rice, because I know just with that I can make something and it's going to be fast and easy. So you've got to feed yourself properly during the holidays, or you're going to binge out. And the flip side is, if you've had enough sleep, you've done your meditation, and you've eaten properly, you're going to massively, massively, massively reduce or eliminate your chances of binging during the holidays. So that's just secret number 1. Now let's go on to secret number 2. So secret number 2 is a mindset practice, and I'm huge about mindset. I've had members who lost 80 pounds say that mindset is everything, and we have a whole part of the program just about mindset, because a lot of my members find that to be the most liberating, empowering part, is changing the mindset. So when I talk about mindset during the holidays and during Halloween, what I'm talking about is actually deciding what your goal and intention is for these holidays. Because if you don't have a very clear goal, you're going to drift along, and the first piece of pumpkin pie or candy or whatever it is that crosses your path, you're going to find yourself eating it, and it's going to be down your throat before you even realize what happened. And we've all been there, right? And so I remember recently I went to a friend's bridal shower, and I didn't have a specific plan of attack, and there was all this obvious junk food and some healthy food going around, and I wasn't hungry and I wasn't tempted. But then at the end of the event, I found myself eating this huge bowl of roasted nuts. And afterwards, I sort of reflected on it and thought, wow, that was a lot of calories, and I was kind of eating them compulsively. And it's because I didn't have a plan. I didn't know what my goal was going into it. So it's the same with holidays. You've got to have a plan if you want to get good results out of this, and you've got to have a clear mindset. So there's really 3 options, and you need to just reflect on this, and it's quite simple. So option number 1 is you are already currently losing weight, or you're in the process of improving your health and it's going well for you. If that is you, and you decide you want to keep going with that, you've basically got to have a firm plan during Halloween that you're not going to indulge. So don't trick yourself, or don't get tempted with the, oh, I'll just have one of these little bite-sized candy because it's okay. Because it is okay, and we teach you it's okay. But Halloween and holidays and bowls of candy is a trigger situation, and the one piece of candy will rarely end up being one. It's going to turn into many, and that's going to derail you if you're already on a good track. So that's option 1, is you can choose to just stick to the track you're on because it's working for you. In that case, have a clear rule that you're just not going to participate in the Halloween candy. Now, option number 2 is you might say, you know what, I don't want to gain weight. I don't specifically need to lose weight right now because this is a tough time of year to lose weight. Now, if this is you, you can have a different rule. The rule can be, I'm going to practice the first 3 principles Anna said. I'm going to get proper sleep. I'm going to meditate every day so I'm not stressed, and I'm going to nourish myself properly. Please do that, because it's necessary to avoid the binge eating and avoid going off track. But if you've done those three things and you don't specifically want to lose weight during the vacation, you just don't want to gain weight, then you can have a more relaxed approach. You can have a bit of pumpkin pie now and then, you can have a bit of candy, and you don't need to have guilt about it, because you're not going to gain weight if you do this. If you just follow these principles, you're not going to gain weight, okay? The weight gain happens from the compulsive eating, the overeating, the binge eating, which is fueled by those three things: the stress, the lack of sleep, and the not being properly nourished. So whereas if you've done those three things, you can choose to just have a bit of candy. It's not going to kill you. It's okay. The vacation will pass. It's going to be the new year, and you'll get back on track and you'll be fine. So then you can have a little bit, indulge. And the key is, do it without the guilt. Just enjoy it. Enjoy this season. Now, the third different mindset approach you could take is, okay, I love Halloween. I love Halloween candy. I love trick-or-treating. I love pumpkin pie. So what I'm going to do is actually just kind of let loose a little bit. And here's how you can do that healthfully. Practice those three principles so it's not crazy, out of control, guilt-driven eating. And then just know that to maintain balance, you're just going to have to tighten the tap a little bit after Halloween or during Halloween even. So that could mean, okay, I'm going to eat a bit more Halloween candy because I love this vacation, but I'm also going to take 2 extra walks a week. Or I'm going to be extra mindful of my eating at other meals. So maybe having a bit less bread with dinner, or maybe having some more of the nourishing smoothies that you learned how to make in the course. Or it might mean that, okay, you set a date, Halloween's over October 31st, so starting on November 1, I'm just going to tighten the tap a little bit, a bit more exercise, watch my eating a bit more. And this is how this approach is sustainable for life. And it's not the dieting mentality, because it's not about going all out and going crazy and demolishing yourself during Halloween. It's just about enjoying this holiday. If it's a special holiday for you and it's impossible to do your best during this holiday, stop beating yourself up, because that just causes more damage. It causes more overeating. It causes more binge eating. Stop beating yourself up. Go with the flow. Enjoy it, and trust that you will get back to equilibrium after. So that's step 2. And if you're watching, write a comment in the chat. Which mindset step do you want to take this Halloween and this holidays? Do you want to just write a number 1, 2, or 3 on there? So number 1 could be, I want to keep losing weight. Number 2 could be, I just want to stay the same weight. And number 3 is, I'm going to loosen up a little bit, enjoy the holiday, and then I'm just going to bring it back afterwards. So just write a 1, 2, or 3 in the chat, which one you're going to do during these holidays. Okay, so that was secret number 3. Secret number 2. So secret number 3 is the principles of behavioral science. So this is not very well known, but there's an entire industry of scientific research just dedicated to looking at how behavioral science can help you with your eating. And in a nutshell, what they found, they've done research on addictive behaviors, which eating for some people can be very, very similar. I know it was and has been for me for much of my life, and a lot of my members as well. And so it's an analogy for it. And what they've found in behavioral science with addiction research is that if you have a very, very specific, clear plan for situations that are your triggers for making the wrong choices, it can help you avoid those addictive behaviors or those negative behaviors. But it has to be very, very specific. So the starting point is, you need to know yourself well enough to know what are the situations that tend to trigger you to make the choices that you regret afterwards, or to do the binge eating. And most people just have 1 or 2 of these recurring themes that occur over and over again. It's when I've had a few drinks at night, then I make the wrong choices. Or when I didn't eat proper meals all day and then I go crazy at night. Or when I'm stressed, I end up binge eating or stress eating on the wrong foods and candy. So you've got to know yourself. And as women, I would say most of us do know what our patterns are, but you need to start there. And then the second step is have a very, very specific plan. It needs to be a specific plan that you've planned in advance, and these are called your keystone habits. They're little habits that give you small steps of success and divert you from the negative or addictive behavior. So it can be something as simple as go make the bed, or go brush your teeth, or go take a walk, or call a friend. So get to know yourself and have a plan that when you're in the situation of that addictive behavior, the overeating or the overdoing the candy, you can call upon this plan and create a new possibility that isn't your normal traps of overeating or making the wrong choices. So that's the main thing from behavioral science. But in addition, there's simple tips you can use that behavioral science shows us work. For example, ask the people at work to move the candy jar. Don't have it near your desk. Or ask the people at work not to offer you the treat foods. Or for example, if you have children and there's a lot of candy going around, like ask your family to hide the candy from you and not offer it to you. These things, they sound stupid, but they actually work. It simply helps reduce your exposure to the candy. Another very simple one is don't buy it if you know you're going to be triggered by it. So these are some of the behavioral science principles, and that was secret number 3. So secret number 4 I love because it's look for other ways to enjoy the holidays. So I really believe that if you spend all your time focusing on don't eat the candy, don't eat the candy, don't eat the candy, then you're going to be miserable, you're going to be deprived, but also you're going to attract what you spend all your time and energy on. So you're actually going to be, I remember when I used to obsess with my eating and constantly struggle with binge eating years ago, I would go to staff morning teas where they would have cakes and sweets set out, and I would 90% of my brain would be focused on an inner dialogue about whether I was going to eat the thing or not. And normally I would end up holding out with all my discipline and willpower and diet plan for the duration of the morning tea or the lunch. But then I'd be the person in the staff kitchen afterwards just shoving my face with cake. And sometimes I didn't even like that type of cake. It was so disordered and it was so dysfunctional and it was so destructive. And the worst thing about it was I would say to myself afterwards, it was such a blur. I would cause so much damage in 5 or 10 minutes. And afterwards I would say to myself, what just happened there? 1, and 2, I could have literally had a cookie every single day and consumed less calories than I just did then in 10 minutes in one session. And I could have avoided all the effort I've gone to all week. So I'd feel so defeated and so demoralized and I never got anywhere. Whereas now, with this new philosophy, this never happens to me anymore because I'm not focused on the food. Because I first of all follow those 3 principles I said in the beginning. Get your sleep, manage your stress, do your meditation, and nourish your body properly. And then I listen to my body and connect with my body. And so part of that is stop focusing on the food you don't want to eat and focus on different ways you can enjoy your holidays, you can enjoy Halloween, and you can nourish and nurture yourself. So a simple example is when I go to staff morning teas now, or I go to events, instead of focusing on the food, I will say to myself, I'm going to focus on enjoying the company of the people I'm with, and it's such a shift and it's so easy to do. And when you make that shift, you actually get something else out of the event and you can forget about the food, which is so liberating. Or another example is at Halloween, just say instead of thinking about being deprived and not buying the candy, I'm going to make a really special holiday themed treat at home, like homemade pumpkin pie or something else special, raw chocolate vitality balls with some pumpkin and cinnamon and cardamom, and then take them to work with to share with colleagues, or take them to a friend's house to share. So you're finding, or take some children in your neighborhood or your own children trick-or-treating. So find other ways to get in the holiday spirit, nurture yourself and enjoy the holiday that don't revolve around food, because what you focus on is what you're going to energetically attract. And I've experienced this so many times in my life. So that is the secret number 4. So comment in the chat below if you're listening on something you love about Halloween that's not the food. Pumpkin carving, go visit a pumpkin patch, there's all these wonderful things that have nothing to do with food. So that's secret 4. Now, secret 5 is missing. Let's see if I can remember it. I actually had a bonus tip, so even if I can't find secret 5, I've got you covered. Let's see. Maybe that was secret 5. Anyway, I'm going to tell you the bonus tip. So the bonus tip is about fiber. And fiber is your best friend. So regardless of everything else you do, even if you have candy or if you have no candy, I want you to really, really focus on having as much fiber as you can during the holidays. And I'll tell you why. So reason number 1 is even if you eat candy, refined sugars, sweets and cakes, if you add fiber in the mix, it actually prevents your blood sugars spiking, which stops that terrible cycle of ingesting huge amounts of calories, fat and sugar, and then feeling hungry and crashing an hour later because your blood sugar has dropped. So fiber is your friend for that reason. The second reason fiber is your friend is because it actually helps your body register satiety. So it makes you feel full and satisfied. So you're going to be less hungry and want less food. And the third reason fiber is your friend is because it's actually a prebiotic. So it actually helps feed the beneficial bacteria in your stomach, so it helps to keep you healthy during the holidays. And so if you are doing a little bit of damage to your system, a bit of inflammation by having a bit more sugar than usual, then fiber is going to help protect you from that damage. And especially if you're pre-diabetic or you're diabetic or you're suffering from high blood sugar, is very, very, very important to have more fiber. So a couple of tips on how to get more fiber in. The very, very simplest is get some psyllium, ground psyllium bran, and simply add a teaspoon to a cup of water in the morning and drink it down. That in itself is going to do wonders. It's going to clean out your system. It's going to make you feel light, energized. It's so good for you, but it's pretty disgusting tasting. Well, I mean, it's not bad tasting, but it doesn't taste good. So I hardly ever do that. The only time I do that is when I've overdone it with food and I just want to clean my system out. That's a little go-to trick as well for you. But what I normally do is add it to my smoothies, and I love that, and I add it to my oatmeal because you can't even taste it. And starting your day, regardless, with a good smoothie or a good oatmeal is going to set you up for success anyway. So add some psyllium, and some other fibers you can add are things like ground up flax seeds. You can use lots of leafy vegetables, fruits, dried fruit, obviously your whole grains. These are all very high in fiber, so try and include more of those during the holidays, and it will definitely help with weight control. It will definitely help with bloating. It will definitely help with sugar cravings because you'll be properly nourished, and it will even help prevent the damage from the sugar. So I have come to the end of today. Now, before we go, I would love you to tag 3 friends or ladies who you know would love to watch this video, share it with them. And if you want access to this video forever, I'm going to be posting a link to a page where you can just enter your name and emails and you'll get a link to it, and I'll share some lovely decadent holiday recipes on there with you as well. I think that completes everything. So thank you so much for being here, and be active in the group. I especially love to see people's photos. I love to hear about their challenges and updates. It's an amazing group of women. Get the support, achieve your goals. And I do send out polls now and then of upcoming topics, so feel free to email me, check those out and vote so we can deliver more sessions that are really useful and relevant to you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you all so much, and have a wonderful day. And please comment below and let me know which secret tip you liked best and how you apply it in your life and how it goes for you. I'd love to see you get results and success. So happy Halloween.